the Empower Now channel. This is the first video in series that I'm going to be talking about on this channel called Roaring Twenties. So the whole purpose of the 20s that I've learned in my latter years here as being in my late 20s, there's three things that I want to focus on in this video, and there's three P's: patience, perseverance, and power. And the last one, power, is really relevant for me, and I'm going to kind of just touch on that in more detail as we go through the presentation. So a little bit about me. Again, Reggie White. I'm a 90s baby. Um, I've always been in love with movies and streaming and YouTube as I was like just growing up watching it. I remember when it first came out and how much I kind of enjoyed, and even now spend hours upon hours watching either Netflix, Hulu, or YouTube. Another thing about me is I love video games. Always have. Like one of my dreams when I get older is to open up an arcade store as an older man, just to kind of tap into that love that I had when I first started playing video games as a kid. Um, I have a wife and a son. My son's name is Ryan Joshua. We call him RJ. My wife's name is Jalea. And I've been fortunate enough to graduate from two awesome universities, one in North Carolina, A&T State University, Aggie Pride, another in Penn State University. And from A&T, I got my industrial and system engineering degree, and from Penn State, I got my master's in supply chain management. And I was also a former NSBE president. So for those who don't know what NSBE is, National Society of Black Engineers. And I had the time of my life in that last year being the chapter president from 2014 to 2015. But the whole purpose of this, again, is to kind of talk about the three P's. And the three P's that we're going to be focusing on in this session is patience, perseverance, and power. And I'm not going to read verbatim the definitions that's up there, but I will say it's so important to have the right perspective. And I myself have learned the importance of perspective in the last year and a half. And I feel like the experiences that I've had in my life has really shown me the importance of having the right perspective. So something my dad used to always tell me when I was younger was do what we have to now so we can do what we want to later. And I really didn't understand that when I was growing up, but I'm starting to kind of scratch the surface on what that really means today. So I can't play this video, and again, this is tailored to be like a group presentation type session where I'm presented in front of a group of people, but because that can't happen on this YouTube setting, I encourage you to watch this video. I'll more likely put those in the description of the video. This is something that is going to show you the importance of patience. So I encourage you to watch that video. And one of the things that Walt Disney said was that if you could dream it, you can do it. And again, I really didn't really appreciate that to like how I do now, but I'm starting to see the truth and the power of writing down a vision and making it plain. And it's important to have patience because in times in today now, like how things are now, is we want it so quick. We want it right then, right then. And it's just not how things work. That's not how it goes down. So you got to have that patience. So again, since this is a group setting type focus, and we don't have a group setting in YouTube, I encourage you in the comments or in your downtime to kind of think about patience in that video that I shared. And if you didn't get the chance to watch it, think about what are things you dislike doing but have to do. Um, could it be that job? Could it be having to be that parent or having to deal with certain things you don't necessarily want to deal with? Bills, that's things we got to do to survive. Think about how often you get frustrated doing the same task over and over again. But the thing I want to challenge you on when it comes to terms of patience is how can you motivate yourself to push through that? That's something that you really could try to take a moment to pause and think about, but think about that in regards to patience. Again, I can't share this video here in this YouTube setting, but perseverance is the next P that takes. So once you get patience down, then the real challenge is how do you get that consistency day in and day out to persevere through the daily challenges that life brings. So I know this is cheesy, but just like what was said in the movie Little Nemo, sometimes you just got to keep swimming. You got to keep pressing ahead. Sometimes we're in seasons in our life that we don't understand why, and we got to do what we got to do now so we can do what we want to later. So we got to keep swimming and keep pushing. So again, much like the last slide that was around the room, I encourage you to take time to think about, what is making you discouraged now? What is something that you just can't seem to shake? What makes you tick though? What makes you motivated? Are you making time for that? I know myself, I didn't make the time that I'm trying to make time for now in 2021. And I'm gonna really challenge myself to get myself motivated, to do things like this, to make time for my passion and to see where it leads me. And again, not even for the sake of money or sake of being noticed, but for the sake of me being the best version of myself that I can be. And I want you to think about challenges that you've overcome. There's a lot of things that we all have in common. The one thing that is consistent is change. And the other thing that's consistent is challenges and issues. And there's a load of them that we've overcome. And if you take the time to think about them, you'll be amazed. Even if you just took 2 minutes to just write them down, like brief things in the last few years that you've overcome, you'll be amazed what you overcame. And lastly is power. So this is something that I thought about, and I think the Lord gave it to me when I was younger, is the importance of power. And the acronym that I came up with in college about power is purpose, opportunity, work ethic, excellence, and relationships. And all five of those things is what makes up our power that we have while we're here on earth. It's important to identify why you need to do something. It's important to seize that opportunity. You got to have a level of work ethic behind it or it won't succeed. You got to make sure you're striving for the right level of excellence, not perfection, because you're going to take time to get to where you need to get to. But the other piece of it is to have the people in place at the right time and the relationships to leverage in order to leverage and make sure that that power is going to take you to where you need to be. So a quote by Marianne Williamson from her poem that I think is so powerful is talking about how our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. So I really encourage you to watch this video that's in here. You can see how Muhammad Ali knocked that guy out there. But again, it's because we have this power inside of us that really will help us push ourselves if we tap into it. And again, there's a lot of things I said in this video, but I encourage you to rewind this video, replay it, or think about it. But which element of power resonates with you the most? And that's probably where you need to focus first. So which element do you want to, after you're kind of thinking about it, do you want to focus on? And how can you protect this motivation? One thing that I'm really bad at is I watch different things get motivated, sermons, motivational videos, and then it just burns out because I don't apply it. So the question is, how do you apply this and apply it in your life and help so you can help yourself go to the next level? So again, we talked about a lot in this video, but these are the takeaways that I want you to really think about. And if you're not in your 20s and you want to reinvent yourself, or you're trying to re-engage a certain level of excellence or purpose, think about how you can tap into your passion, because your passion is tied to your purpose. Don't rush to the destination. You have power. You can't give up. And other thing that I want you to think about is how can you pour into somebody else? But most importantly, anything's possible. And that's the theme that I'm going to be having this Empower Now, is it's talking about how anything is possible. All right, so where I'm going to end on this video is a challenge. I encourage you to find over the next 30 days a mentor, or find someone you can mentor to. If you already have a mentor or already are being a mentor, find time to reflect on your passions. Make time for it, and then make sure you prioritize it. And then the last thing is to focus on at least one thing every day that went well. And again, I'm not just saying this to say this. These are things I'm going to try to start doing myself as well. The only way we can get to where we want to be is by challenging ourselves. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, subscribe. And there's going to be more content coming out over the next few months and days. And I'm just so excited to kind of start doing what I think God's called me to do.